Hello everyone, let's begin. Harmonization with this session 100%, going both ways. Wonderful. So let's take a moment, take a deeper look at the pattern of energy that's presenting itself to us today. So the first thing that I'm noticing is a texture that feels like a bubble that part of my body is contained within. So there's this, it's about where my hand is, where it ends, right? It's a bubble that moves and contains most of the left side of my body. It cuts off just below the arm here, right? So it doesn't even reach the bottom of the rib cage, and it's inclusive of almost all of my face. It cuts off the very edge of my face here in texture, and I'm feeling that sensation expanded out here. There's a movement, a current of movement within this bubble that's moving, spinning to the right relevant in terms of feminine energy, no, so in terms of time. So something about moving into or looking towards the future, right-sided things to do with the future, left-sided things to do with the past. So something inside of this bubble, this spinning motion, having to do with the future, but it stops. It's moving, it's a current that gets halted halfway through. So it's a circular motion that boop, bumps up against something. Circular motion that boop, bumps up against something, and it keeps happening that way. My attention keeps moving in this circular motion and then stopping. Circular motion and then stopping. So something about this point that's stopping is relevant. So if we pay attention to the point that's stopping here, what makes my body want to move? It makes my shoulder want to raise. Something about this motion. Something about the raising shoulder as well as the head tilting this way. Yeah, so something going on to do with the raising shoulder and the head tilting that way. So muscles that are engaged in this moment in time related to this pattern that we're feeling here. Woozy, nauseating sort of sensation. I feel lightheaded. Something lands in at the bridge of my nose. That's another hint, that's another clue of what we're looking for here. Bridge of the nose. Bridge of the nose alongside some of the other things that we're feeling, that shrugging sensation, that moving away sensation. Like my whole spine wanted to curve into a C this way. Makes me think something to do with the latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi can be to do with two different organ systems in the body. Latissimus dorsi, the muscle at your lats on your side that allow you to pull yourself up onto things, climbing up things, right? So climbing is relevant, but we should look into the organ first. So pay attention to climbing and the organ. In this case, the organ could be the spleen. Spleen is coming up rather than pancreas. Okay, so spleen. In traditional Chinese face mapping, the bridge of the nose is related to the spleen or the pancreas. In this case, we're working with something to do with the spleen, affecting the latissimus dorsi muscle, to do with this stuck point in the motion of this whirring bubble of information here that's also on the left side of the body. Is that relevant? Okay, cool. So the motion is relevant, the current moving to the right is relevant, but the bubble being off to the left side is not relevant. That's okay. You gotta ask, though. Ask about all the details. So I'm feeling more sensation in my ribs now, so looking into emotions that are correlated with the rib cage to do with the spleen. So in different functions of things that I study, the spleen is typically associated with the fifth thoracic vertebrae. So then we look into things to do with the fifth rib. So here we'll be working through some emotional correlations that are present in the technique creative emotional wizardry. I would look into that if you're interested in emotional organ or emotional bone correlations in the body. They are not all of the emotional correlations that exist, but it's a good comprehensive list. There's quite a lot of useful information in that technique. Something about self-image, something about the way that I see myself. Self-image to do with the spleen, affecting the rib cage on the left side. Now left side is relevant. Okay, so now left side is relevant. Left side is relevant to do with feminine energy, my ability to magnetize things towards myself, right? My natural ability to show up as who I am, not trying to be someone else, and me being the natural expression of me allows opportunities to come towards me that fulfill my need for abundance, my need for love, my need for safety, security, all the things that you need. My magnetism for my needs is feminine energy. My ability to act upon the opportunities that are presented towards me is masculine energy, but magnetizing those things towards me in the first place is feminine energy. So something about this to do with self-image. I'm still feeling that whirring motion, so there's still relevance within the whirring motion. So something that I'm missing there will fill in the gaps of the information that we have here. So the tornado inside is spinning to the right, but there's a portion inside of the tornado that's moving to the opposite direction. There's a portion inside that's creating a little eddy current that's moving towards the left side. Two little counter-rotating fields, but this feels like information that's trying to compensate. So we still have that stuck point. We still have that stuck point in the right where it goes boop and it stops here. And it's like that stuckness creates a separate eddy, a separate current that then moves in the opposite direction. And it's smaller here. So we have a large current that gets stopped, a large current that gets stopped, and it creates an upward current that then moves in the opposite direction. So pay attention to that smaller current inside, a compensational current inside. And it's taking me into something. It's like I'm being pulled down inside of a whirlpool. My body is moving down, pulled down below this whirlpool, and now I'm sitting. I've been pushed down. I've been sucked down by this whirlpool into the bottom of a dark pool of water. I feel like I'm sitting at the bottom of a ravine, floating here. People are berating me, voices are berating me, talking down to me. The general theme, why can't you do things like this? Why can't you do things the right way? Why can't you just do things the right way? Why do you always have to be this way? I'm feeling goosebumps across my face as I say that, so we landed on a pattern. We landed on a pattern of criticism. Nope. We landed on a pattern of emotional abuse, emotional linguistic abuse in the body. My whole body is in fight or flight right now. I can feel myself being very alert. My muscles are very tense. I don't feel relaxed. I feel on edge. I feel on guard right now. My self-image affected by this pattern of emotional abuse in a close relationship in the past. Close romantic relationship in the past. Flushing over my cheeks and the tops of my thighs specifically. Flushing and goosebumps over my cheeks and the tops of my thighs. Cheeks are relevant, tops of the thighs are relevant. Cheeks are relevant. Cheeks are relevant in terms of my sinuses. Again, creative emotional wizardry correlation here. Sinuses to do with the emotion of regret in this situation. I feel regret over something. I feel regret over something to do with this relationship, to do with this abusive energy in this relationship. I feel regret over what I've done. No, I feel regret over the way that I allowed someone else to treat me in the moment. I feel regret over the fact that I wasn't able to make the choice to move out of that situation at the time, and instead the universe itself kind of plopped me out of that situation. God, the universe, had to push me out of that situation because I didn't have the capacity, I didn't have the energy to move through it myself at that time. The energy was not available to me to do so, which was important in that moment. It was relevant in that moment. It was important that it happened in that way. But I feel regret that I wasn't strong enough at the time to step out of this pattern of allowing this person to keep putting me down and keep breaking me down more and more. Because at some level, I agreed with the fact that I deserved that treatment. That's why I stayed. That's why I couldn't go. Because I felt like I deserved that. I deserved that. And the regret is in part related to that as well. Regret for myself. Regret for myself and my inner child, and that I couldn't be strong enough to take that kid out of that situation so that they could live in a life where they felt safe to be who they are. My whole body is tense. Everything has stopped here. All of the tension is collected into this line. It's not in my body anymore. My body is relaxing, and all of that tension is here. It's not exactly a line, it's more like an S shape. It's slowly moving into itself. It's slowly becoming more curved. Folding in on itself. And opening up. And the current is moving within that bubble again, and it's expanding. The bubble is getting bigger. The bubble is all around the entirety of my body now. And it's all moving in this direction. It's no longer stuck. And it's no longer creating that excess eddy that's higher up, that's smaller. Now it's all one motion inside of this bubble. Pardon me. Burping is how the energy wants to leave the body sometimes. There's something at the bottom of this current. There's something at the bottom of this whirlpool-like sensation at the tip, below my feet indicating something in the subconscious mind. Again, I would look into the seminar MED by Dr. Richard Bartlett if you'd like to learn more about that. When I lock into something, there's a sensation at the bottom of my feet where my attention wants to stay. I'm seeing an egg. I'm seeing an egg here that's cracking. Something is coming out of the egg. Okay, so we have it's like a little dinosaur coming out of the egg. And it's moving about, and it's very energetic. I'm seeing it grow up under the sun, be very energetic, very expressive, hopping around, smiling like a dinosaur in those old Land Before Time movies. But as he hits a certain age and he gets into this relationship, he gets into a relationship with another dinosaur, his expression becomes less and less available. His expression becomes less and less able to be put out, more and more suppressed. And that's a choice. That's a choice because of recognition. A choice because of recognition that when my light shines, it upsets other people. When I allow myself to be who I am fully, it upsets other people and it gets in their way. And that is because of who they are. It has nothing to do with who you are. It has nothing to do with you or the natural expression of you. You're allowed to be here and to be you and to be the fullest, brightest, shining expression of you that you can be. And however it affects other people, it's their problem. It's on them and it's their trauma that they likely need to be working through. You're triggering something in them. When you be the brightest version of who you are, you're triggering something in them that causes them to react, to try to put you down, because you aren't allowed to make me feel that thing. I'm not ready to feel that thing. That has everything to do with them, and it has nothing to do with you. But reflexively, reactively, we suppress this aspect of ourselves at that moment in time, at the end of this relationship, as we were moving into the end of this relationship where this abuse, this emotional abuse was rising. We suppressed this aspect of ourselves, this full expression of ourselves, because we wanted to make everything okay. But in the process, we lost a piece of who we were. And it's time to bring that back. To live the happiest life that is available to you, to live the fullest life that is available to you, you have to be who you are. And there's nothing wrong with who you are. If who you are triggers other people, that's because they have trauma that they need to work through. And if they're not ready to do that, then they're not ready to be a part of your life. A line here that's taking my attention around the body. Circling in this direction. Something is coming in through the tip of this vortex, the tip moving in that direction, the tip moving in that direction, and something is being introduced. And it's whirring through the motion of this information. Yeah. I'm good. My body collapsed. I feel very strange. My back cracked in that moment as well. Okay, let's try to communicate what just happened there. So that was a little bit of a soul retrieval happening. The energy that was moving through, the information that was moving through the vortex swept and moved into my body, and it was like a layer of sensation that I feel, a layer of textural sensation within my body that has been gone for some time, fell back in. My sensory capacity, my ability to feel my body in space increased as this thing slipped into my body, and it felt like something returning to me. It felt like something returning to me, and it was. It was the aspect of myself that I had shut down in order to make other people feel safe. And right now, I feel incredibly safe. And it's been a very long time since I've felt this safe. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Are these trapped emotions still present within our body? Did we successfully recover this lost aspect of our energy? Wonderful. Is there anything more that we need to know today? I believe that's all that I have for you. I hope that it was beneficial, and I'll see you next time. Bye.